Hi everybody, Ellen here. Today I come to you guys with my August book haul. This is part 2. So there's a shitload of books in this haul. I don't even know how many it is. I will count them later. This will be probably the second part out of 3, I think. So yeah, let's get started. So the first book I have here is The Train to Impossible Places by P.G. Bell. Don't really know a lot about this book, but it's a middle grade book. And it's supposed to be a train that travels to impossible places, and there's a boy trapped in a snow globe and a girl who's about to go on an adventure of a lifetime. And that's all it says on the back, and that's all I know about it. But it's a really cute cover. I love middle grade. I'm so hyped to read all of the middle grades in September, so yes. And we have a couple of classics as well. We have Jane of Lantern Hill by Ellen Montgomery. As you guys might know at this point, I've read the first 5, I think, books in the Anne of Green Gables series, and I just want to read everything Ellen Montgomery has written, and this is one of them, and this is a standalone as far as I know. But we meet Jane and her mother, and they live in this sort of gloomy old mansion, and their lives are ruled by their overbearing grandmother, and Jane has always believed that her father is dead. But then one dull day in April, it turns out that maybe he's not dead after all, because she starts receiving a letter from him, and he wants Jane to spend the summer with him on Prince Edward Island, which happens to be the same island that Anne moves to. But that's besides the point. And she gets to spend the summer there, and she gets to make friends and have different sort of adventures and stuff. But maybe her grandmother isn't really like very thrilled about this. But yeah, so I'm really looking forward to reading this one, and it's such a beautiful cover. I love these covers. This is the VMC edition. Virago Modern Classics is what they call it. We have an entire series by Ellen Montgomery, because this is the Virago Modern Classics of the Anne of Green Gables series. None of these are in the right order, but we have Anne of Green Gables, Anne of Avonlea, Anne of the Island, Anne of Windy Willow, Anne's House of Dream, Anne of Ingleside. I think it's supposed to be We Love Ingleside, and then Rainbow Valley, but I'm not sure of those two. But yeah, I just really wanted these beautiful editions, so now I have 2 sets of the same series, and I still need to read the last 3 books in the series. But you know, I'll get to it, because I plowed on through 5 of them like almost back to back, and just needed some break, but I'll get on it very soon. But yeah, this is definitely starting to become one of my favorite classics, so I just need these editions. And if you guys don't know, this series is about Anne, and she gets adopted by these siblings called Marilla and Matthew, and they actually asked for a boy, but then Anne turns up instead, and they decide to keep her, and shit goes down. And then there's Gilbert Blythe, who's like my new... I love him. So yeah, I just needed these. And then we have Flunked by Jen Calunita, and this is supposed to be a fairy tale reform school. We meet Gilly, and she gets sent to this reform school, and Gilly's a pretty good thief until she gets caught, and she's sentenced to 3 months at this reform school, and the teachers are former super scary villains like the Big Bad Wolf, the Evil Queen, and Cinderella's wicked stepmother. And then she also meets the students Jax and Kayla, and she learns that maybe there's more to this school than its heroic mission, and there's a battle brewing. And like, I don't know, I stumbled upon this great book while on Goodreads, and it definitely sounds really good, so I really want to read it. Then we have another middle grade, which is basically this entire haul is basically classics and middle grade. So, you know, who doesn't love that? But here we have The Jumbies by Tracy Baptiste. And this is a really short book, like surprisingly so, because it's 229 pages. That's not a lot at all. They're supposed, the main character Corinne has to learn ancient magic to be able to stop this sovereign and save her island home. And there might be some jumbies and tricksters, and they might be made up by parents to frighten their children, but then it turns out that maybe it's not actually a fictional story and might be real, these zombies. So it sounds really interesting. I'm really interested to find out how it's going to tell so much of a story in just the 229 pages, but hopefully it will manage. And then we have Mary Underwater by Shannon Doleski. This is really cute, like with the fishes and everything. We meet Mary Murphy, and she feels like she is drowning. Her violent father is home from prison, and the social worker is suspicious of her new bruises. And then an aunt she's never met keeps calling, and if she can't get a good grade on her science project, she will fail her favorite class. But Mary doesn't want to be a victim anymore. She has a plan, and that is to build a real submarine like the model she's been building with her friend. And she's gaining courage from her heroine, Joan of Arc, and Mary vows to pilot the sub across the Chesapeake Bay, risking her life in modern crusade to save herself. Sounds really cute and really hard-hitting at the same time, and it's about 215-ish pages, so it's really short, but don't we all just need quick reads? And we actually have something that is not a middle grade nor a classic, but this is Bringing Down the Duke by Evie Dunmo. This is supposed to be like an adult romance kind of thing, and we meet Annabelle Archer, and she's one of the first female students at Oxford University, so this is sort of a historical fiction kind of point of view. And in return for a scholarship, she must recruit influential men to champion the rising women's suffragist movement. And her first target is Sebastian de Virago, which is a cold, calculating and the most powerful duke in England. And she has to, along with her friends, infiltrate his luxurious estate. And she is appalled to find herself attracted to this infuriatingly intelligent aristocrat. But she's not the only one struggling with desire. So soon she's locked into a battle with passion and a will matching her own. So I've heard great things about this book, so hopefully I will enjoy it. And then we have another middle grade, and this is The House of Hidden Wonders by Sharon Gosling. And there's a ghostly figure sighted in the murky tunnels beneath Edinburgh, and Sini and her sisters suddenly find their underground home filled with curious visitors. Among them is the owner of a new museum, the House of Wonders, who seems to know more about the ghost than he should. As Sini discovers dark secrets concealed within the so-called House of Wonders, she throws herself into a world of intrigue, determined to uncover the real story behind the ghost. Can she shine a light on the truth, or will the sinister forces against her prove too strong? So I always love a good middle grade ghost story, so this will be interesting to say the least. And we actually have a graphic novel. So this is Giant Days by Alexandra and Cougar. This is volume 1, just so you can see a little bit of the art style. And I think it's supposed to follow 3 girls while they go to university and like how everything goes down from there. So that's pretty much all I know. I heard great things about it. Like you guys know, I'm a little bit iffy when it comes to graphic novels because I'm really picky about them and I don't really end up liking a lot. So we'll see what I'll think about this one. Then we have a picture book, and this is Solvi by Lupita Nyong'o. Sorry if I butchered that. It's illustrated by Vashti Harrison, and this is a Honor Coretta Scott King Award, which is Peace, Non-Violence, Social Change and Brotherhood. So this is beautiful. This is Lupita, by the way. She's one of the she's a famous actress. She won an Oscar like 3 years ago, I want to say. I think it was 2017, I'm not sure. But she wrote the book. I haven't read it yet, but we meet Solvi, the girl on the cover, and she has the skin the color of midnight. She's a lot darker than all of the other kids. She's darker than her mom and dad and her older sister, and she's kind of struggling with it because she's getting different kind of nicknames because of it. So this is pretty much about a magical journey in the night sky, and it opens her eyes and changes everything, and she'll start to accept like who she is and where she comes from and everything like that. And it sounds really beautiful, and I think that the illustrations are beautiful as well. You can look at that. So yeah, I really look forward to reading this one. And then we have Eva Evergreen, Semi-Magical Witch by Julie Abey. And I really know a lot about this one. I mean, there's a girl, she is a novice of a witch. Novice witch. We have Eva Evergreen, and to be able to earn the rank of novice witch before her 13th birthday, has to earn it. And if she doesn't, she'll lose her magic forever. And the only problem is the fact that Evie only has a pinch of magic, and it might not be enough. Because she can only summon heads of cabbage instead of flowers, and she gets a sunburn instead of calling down rain. And to add insult to injury, whenever she overuses her magic, she falls asleep. So she ends up going to this coastal city called Autori, and residents expect a powerful witch, not a semi-magical girl. So Eva comes up with a plan, set up a magical repair shop to help Autori and prove she is worthy. And she may not have a lot of magic, but her semi-magical fixes repair the lives of townspeople. And it's sort of will her magic be enough to save the city from this danger that's coming? So it sounds really cute, and I'm really looking forward to reading this one because it sounds really cute, and I love witches and magic and everything like that, so this sounds awesome. And then we have Seeker of the Wild Realm by Alexandra. Love this cover, it's beautiful, and I don't really know a lot about this. I just know there's like dragons and magic, and also different kind of magical creatures, because in the back we have unicorns, phoenixes, and a fire cat. So there's also something about growing up to become a seeker who's tasked with collecting magical items from the wild realm and protecting the creatures that dwell there. There's the thing that our main characters is a girl, and only ones that have been allowed to become a seeker are men and boys. So that's the problem here. And she meets this boy who's hidden this dragon, and they decide to work together to be able to, you know, become seekers, both of them, and shit goes down, and it sounds really cute, and I really want to read this one like right away. And then we have Arusha and the Song of Death by Roshana Shakshi. This is a Pandava novel, and this is the second book in the series. And in the first one we meet Arusha, and she works in this sort of a Hinduic museum, I think it is, and there's this lamp which is cursed, and to be able to gain some friends, she actually, you know, touches this lamp, and she unwillingly lets free this sort of ancient being that brings chaos on the world and everything, and she has to make her ways with it and like try to put it back in the bottle again. So shit goes down, and you know, it's just sort of mythology, which I love. So this sounds amazing to continue on with the series. We have The Total Eclipse of Nestor Lopez by Adriana Cuevas. Short quick notes on this one is all Nestor Lopez wants is to live in one place for more than a few months and have dinner with his dad. And his dad is actually employed in the army, I think. And then there's a lot of so they have to, when his dad is deployed the last time, he and his mother has to go live with in this new town with their grandmother. And Nestor wants to lay low. He doesn't want anyone to find out his deeper secret, which is the fact that he can talk to animals. But then a lot of animals are starting to disappear, and he realizes that maybe he needs to do whatever he can to help those animals. So it sounds really cute. Love books talking about animals, so this will be great. And then we have The Forest of Stars by Heather Castner, and this feels like it's sort of a magical realism kind of book, I think, by reading the flap here. The main character, Louisa, she's 12 years old, and she was left all alone when her mother passed away, and she watches the sky for her father because long ago a powerful gust of wind swept through town, stealing him away on the wings of his untamed magic. The same magic that now stirs within Louisa. As if she's made of hollow bones and too much air, her feet never quite touch the ground. But for all her sky gazing, Louisa finds her fortune on the leaf-strewn street when she spots a gleaming black and gold invitation, a ticket to the carnival beneath the stars. And she believes that if anywhere her father should be found, at this carnival. So she goes and shit goes down. And then we have Things You Can't Say by Jen Bishop. In this one we follow Drew, and he lost his dad unexpectedly 3 years ago. Drew knows a lot about things not going right. First is the new girl Audrey taking over everything at the library, Drew's sacred place. And then it's his best friend Felipe pulling away from him. But most upsetting has to be the mysterious man who's suddenly staying with Drew's family. An old friend of Mom's. Drew doesn't buy that. But with an unlikely ally, Audrey, he's determined to get to the bottom of who this man really is. The thing is, there are some fears, like what if the person you thought was your dad actually wasn't? That you can't speak out loud, not to anyone, and that, at least that's what Drew thinks, but then again, first impressions can be deceiving. So it's finding out who your dad actually was. So that sounds really interesting. Then we have a couple of books in the same series. So we have Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. These are also the Virago Modern Classic editions. So I'm not really sure about the order of these, but it's Little Women, Little Men, Joe's Boys, and Good Wives. So I've read Little Women. I read Little Women once and I really enjoyed it, and I just want to continue on with the series and find out everything there is to know. And then we have more classics, still in the Virago Modern Classics edition, because apparently I'm addicted. Not really sure which the order is. So I'm just gonna name them in whichever. Emily Climbs, Emily of New Moon, and Emily's Quest, all by Ellen Montgomery. And I believe I read somewhere that this is actually Ellen Montgomery's favorite story that she wrote, even though Anne of Green Gables is a lot more popular and well known. So this is the first book, Emily of New Moon. We follow Emily, and when her father dies, she's left in the care of her mother's family. She's a stranger to them though, and they don't want the responsibility for the heartbroken, headstrong girl, and it is eventually decided that Emily should be sent to live at New Moon Farm with her stern Aunt Elizabeth, head of the Murray clan, kind Aunt Laura, and eccentric cousin Jimmy. And Emily is enchanted by New Moon but cannot believe she will ever belong there. Before long though, she has made firm friends: Ilse, a tomboy with a blazing temper, Teddy, an aspiring artist, and Perry, the ambitious houseboy. And Emily brings so much life to New Moon that even Aunt Elizabeth might one day wonder how they ever lived without her. So, really look forward to, you know, getting back into Ellen Montgomery's writing. 2 books in the same series, because apparently I cannot stop myself. So we have Bright Storm, a Skyship adventure, and Dark Whispers, a Brightstorm adventure. So, Bright Storm is the first book, I want to say. This is middle grade. They're so beautiful. So in the first book we meet Arthur and Maudie Brightstorm, and they're devastated by the news that their father, a daring explorer, has died in a failed attempt to reach South Polaris. But a mysterious clue leads the twins to question the story they've been told. To find the truth, they must undertake the journey of a lifetime. We're so close to being done for this time. But we have A Pinch of Magic by Michelle Harrison. And there's even a map here. Beautiful. I've heard great things about this one. Don't really know a lot about it, so I'm just going to read from the back, like with every other book in this haul. Ooh, look at that spine. 3 sisters trapped by an ancient curse. 3 magical objects with the power to change their fate. Will they be enough to break the curse, or will they lead the sisters even deeper into danger? Dum dum dum. And then we have A Royal Guide to Monster Slaying by Kelly Armstrong. And in this one we meet 12-year-old Rowan, and she is destined to be queen, and her brother Rid, her twin brother Rid, is to be the royal monster hunter. But Rowan wants to be a monster hunter, so she will do anything to switch places. But the oldest child is always next in line, even though she's only older by 2 minutes. So she resigns herself to just be able to admire the monster hunters, and her aunt's glorious sword, enjoying her queen mother for boring diplomatic teas. But tragedy shatters the long-standing rule, and Rowan finds herself hunting the most dangerous monster of all, a Gryphon. And she's accompanied by a feisty baby jackalope and a giant wolf that barely tolerates her. and Rowan sets off on a journey that will see her join other unlikely allies, a boy with monster hunting ambitions of his own, and a girl hiding dangerous motives. We take all of Rowan's skill, both physical and diplomatic, to keep this adventure on track. The future of our kingdom depends on it. Wild Way Home by Sophie Kirtley. Love the cover. When Charlie's baby brother Dara is born with a problem in his heart, Charlie runs to the forest with its sheltering leaves that shut out trouble and hurt and fear. But in the forest is a boy lying in the river, breathing, though only just. And when Charlie goes for help, the forest has changed. Now it's something vast and strange, something ancient, something wild. And Charlie's a long way from home. That's all I know about it, but it's very dramatic to read from the back, but I like it. Now we have Orphans of the Tide by Struan Murray and illustrated by Manuel Samberak. The city was built on a sharp mountain that jutted improbably from the sea, and the sea kept trying to claim it back. That grey morning, once the tide had returned, a whale was found on a rooftop. Sounds mysterious. When a mysterious boy washes in with the tide, the citizens believe he's the enemy, the god who drowned the world, come again to curse to untold chaos. Only Ellie, a fearless young inventor living in a workshop crammed with curiosities, believes he's innocent. But the enemy can take possession of any human body, and the ruthless Inquisition are determined to destroy it forever. To save the boy, Ellie must prove who he really is, even if that means revealing her own very dangerous secret. Dum dum dum. Is The Ship of Shadows by Maria Castner. And I don't really know a lot of this, but there's supposed to be magic and adventure and pirates and a band of ruthless women. So if I counted right, that was 37 books. It's a lot because this is only part 2, and I definitely have more books that are still not here. So there will be a part 3 of this, but you know, I need to go in a book buying there so badly right now, but we'll see about that. But yeah, if you've read any of these books, please let me know down below what you thought about them, without spoiling of course. And if you like this video, please don't forget to give me some thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe to my channel by clicking the button down below. And yeah, I hope to see each other in the next one. Bye!